Hey, it's Cindy Wabi, and I wanted to pop on for a few minutes and talk to you a little bit about vintage linens. I am up to my neck in fabulous old linens this morning, boxes and boxes of them that I'm going through. I had a great visit a couple of weeks ago with an old friend of mine from high school who contacted me on Facebook, and she was going to be in Oregon and going through her mother's sewing room, and she'd inherited a lot of old vintage textiles and linens, and asked if I'd be interested. Well, the answer would be yes, because I love old textiles. I love old handwork, and so I'm just tickled pink to be able to go through all of these and share a little bit with you on how to care for them. Because they do require a little extra care. You know, back in the 20s and 30s, they had what they called Hanky of the Month Club, and ladies would get a new hanky every month in the mail, and a lot of times they were done on a theme, and I love when I get to see collections of those, because a lot of times nobody used them. They just kept them in a drawer somewhere. This is a fun one. I'm going to show you a couple of things before I talk about it. This is from 1959, and it's got the calendar of the year from 1959 all around, and all these great cool graphics from the year. I just think those are just wild and fun. This is a great example of a handwork that is kind of a lost art, and it's called tatting. And I'm going to hold this up. Hopefully you can see this. It's very fine work. It's knot on knot on knot, and those knots together combine to make little patterns. It's very labor intensive. It takes good eyes. You make it with a little thing called a tatting shuttle, and I wish that I had one here to show you. Sometimes I have them in the shop. This is different. Tatting is different from this kind of work. This is crochet work, and a lot of people still crochet. Remember the old work basket magazines? I sell a lot of those in my estate sales, but they would come out every month with all new crochet patterns for a new doily or a new tablecloth. I wish, my mom's gonna see my video and hear this, but I wish that I'd paid attention as a child and learned how to tat, because I think at this stage of my life it probably isn't going to happen. This is a sweet little piece of forget-me-not that's hand embroidered. The hand arts are lost arts, probably a little bit because women are not, they're working outside the home. Now we don't have as much time to do these things and pass these traditions down to our children. I was delighted to see that Sabrina Hand, who's a wonderful young mother here in Florence, is teaching sewing classes and embroidery classes through Dragon Art, because a lot of times, you know, we just don't have time to teach these to our kids, or we don't know how to do it. And so I'm thrilled that there are some people who are keeping these traditions open. Here's a sweet little tea towel with some embroidery work. Anyway, I've got oodles of stuff to go through today, and I'm going to have a fun time doing it. But to care for these takes a little bit of extra time and attention. I wanted to just go through a couple basic things. First of all, never put this stuff in the washer or in the dryer. You want to hand wash all of your vintage linens. And the best product to use, I have found, is an old-fashioned brand called Dreft. I think Dreft made the very first commercial detergent, but they manufacture a soap flake that comes in a box, and you can get them at Bi-Mart, and probably Fred Meyer and Safeway carry it too. But you want a soap flake to put in water in a sink, and just suds them up a bit, and then soak your linens in that for about 20-30 minutes, and then rinse them out. When you pull them out of the water, that is when they are most vulnerable. The fibers and the threads, this is a very, very thin fabric right here. And when it's wet, it's going to stretch and be most vulnerable to breakage and damage. So you want to be really careful when you do that you don't wring things out and stretch them. Instead, lay them in between two bath towels, just the same way you would if you were hand washing a sweater, and then roll it up and press the water out. And then if you have one of those old-fashioned laundry racks, drying racks, those are perfect to just lay things over. Otherwise, the shower rod in the bathroom is great, and just let them dry naturally. Most of the time, these things need to be pressed because they're made with natural fibers and they're going to get wrinkly. So Never put an iron directly on a hanky or an old linen. You want to use a pressing cloth. And if you don't have a pressing cloth, the next best thing is an old pillowcase, a cotton pillowcase, or a flour sack type tea towel. Put that over the top of your vintage piece and then run the iron over the top. When you're storing vintage linens, whether they're quilts or things like this, you don't want to fold them. You want to roll them up and store them in a cool, dark place, like a hope chest or something, like an old cedar chest, but don't fold them. When you fold things and they sit somewhere for 40, 50, 60 years or longer, sometimes along these fold lines, these creases become permanent. They also become permanently damaged on your fabrics. I have pulled out old quilts that have been folded up for 60 years, and where they have been folded, that fabric has frayed away and broken down, and it's not repairable. So you want, instead of folding them up, to roll them ever so gently. And then if you need to wrap them up in something, wrap them up in an acid-free tissue paper, or if you don't have access to that, an old white cotton sheet, like a flat sheet. You can lay things down on it and then gently roll them up, and periodically take them out, give them a good shake, and roll them again so that they're rolled in a different configuration, so that nothing sits for a long time in the same position. Anyway, thanks for watching my videos. Thanks for the questions that you send me. I'm thrilled to be able to share some of the things I love with you. And if there's anything I can do to encourage you to, if you know how to do this work, to continue the craft and to share it with others, whether it's teaching a friend or someone in your church to do it, or I don't know, showing your kids how to preserve these arts. This is a dying craft, and it is our American folk art in many ways, although certainly a lot of this work gets done in other countries as well. I don't want to say that we have the market on it, but it's a dying craft, and I hate to see it go away. Lots of work goes into this, a lot of time, and it's such a beautiful embellishment to your home when you can use these in your decor, and just use them in your life. Anyway, thanks for letting me share, and thanks for sharing my videos. I appreciate it. It's a great day to have a great day. Take care.